Hello everyone, it's Della DuLac. Today I'm going to share with you a few cards that I did with the Sunrise Sealing Bundle. It's an online exclusive. Be sure to check that out on my website. This is such a fun little set. My husband is a retired Navy man, so little sailing chips is kind of fun. It has the stamp set and the dies and a fun embossing folder that all comes with that. And they all coordinate together. So with the dies, you've got the die that cuts out the stamp, and then a few other little accessory cutouts with that, and some kind of fun water. We'll play with those in just a little bit. First I'm going to share with you, let's move that over here, a couple of the cards. So with just the stamp set, so just stamp, ink, and paper, sip. We've got this one here, fairly simple and quick, very cute. And then this one is just the embossing folder and another greeting from a different set. So that's fairly simple. It looks really cute with just some simplicity there, and I really like to do a portion of your embossing folder on the inside too. I'll show you that just a second. And it's kind of hard to tell, but I did do some Wink Stella on the sails. Oh, you see a little bit of glimmer, a little bit, but fairly simple. And then this one, I did show this one in another video that I did with the direct to paper technique, so you can check that video out. But with this one, I just embossed it on the Misty Moonlight and took the white ink pad and dragged that across it to get that effect on there. And then this one here, so if you do your stamp and then line your stamp up, so we're going to do that first, stamp it and then line it up through the embossing folder, and you'll get that fun texture. So I'm going to show you that one right now. Let's move these out of the way. Set that there. Okay, so I've got my card stock. I've done some pre-cutting here. So this one is my mat, my typical mats that I do for that. So we're going to stamp the sailing ship. We're going to do that in the almost for a Secret Sea. We're going to stamp this in the Secret Sea. Let's move that guy over there. Let's move this actually. There we go. So I'm going to stamp this mostly in the middle, maybe just kind of slightly to one side, just a little bit. So we'll stamp that. Good pressure. Terrific. The Secret Sea is really pretty. It's very rich. It's almost black, but it's very pretty. So let's close that before I stick my finger in it or flip a card on top of that. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but all right. And this is the inside here. This one I've done with the red. It does stain the stamps, but as long as as long as you clean them and they're stamping clear, you're fine to go into another color. This one I'm just going to do with some of the light blue, the balmy blue. Okay, so let's ink that really well. We're going to stamp that on the inside of my sail. Pretty. And then for the inside of the bottom boat, let's close that one. There we go. And then for the inside of that, we've got the Misty Moonlight. So let's ink that up and stamp that. Oop, a little more. Okay. Get that lined up, hopefully. Terrific. All right. Okay, so now once you've got that all stamped, now we're going to run that through the embossing folder. So we're going to put that in here. So you just want to put that in there and line it up so you can see your sailboat right through there, and then we're going to run that through the embossing folder. Okay, I have run that through the machine, and there we go. Magic of TV. Alright, so that looks great. I really like the blues. Let's get my card that we're going to put this on. And this is a fun, I like this fold. It's super quick and easy to do, a little fun fold. So we're going to fold this in half like you normally would with your cards. Some people really like to score theirs. When I'm doing these folds, I don't typically. Okay, red bone folder. Alright, and then just fold back that front flap on itself. Line that up with the first fold line. And hope it doesn't move on you, which it just did. So let's line that back up again. There we go. Okay. Alright, so now these two pieces we're going to put together. And on here I did the ahoy, but I think on this one I'm just going to leave it blank, and then I can have it be whatever greeting I want it to be later. Okay. Alright, so we're going to line that up on our Misty Moonlight mat. Okay. And now to put that on here, we're going to do this. Like that. But first I'm going to get my inside piece like I did with this one here. Now I've already run this through my embossing folder, but to do that when you want to get just the bottom edge of that, you put that through, line that up like this, close your embossing folder, and then when you run it through the machine, make sure that you put your plate so it doesn't go past the edge of the embossing folder. That way you won't get this harsh line when you run it through. So if you run it through like this, and you won't get this funky little edge there. You have a nice little embossed piece. Okay, so let's put that in first so we know how to line that ship one up, or the sailing boat. Go. So we're going to put this in here. So let's open that up. Have a nice little mat all the way around. Close that. Now when I put this one on, I'll know. So if I put this on first and it didn't quite cover that up, I don't want to see that white. I want to make sure that it's something like this. Okay, so we're going to put just adhesive on this side. So we just want adhesive here. So I'm going to put 2 strips here, and I want to have a nice seal towards this. So I'm just going to put a little strip down the middle next to the fold line. I don't want to go all the way out here. So now when I put this on, I want to make sure that I cover that edge up. Line this up here. Here we go. Very cute. So I really like it in the blues, kind of a monochromatic scheme, just the blues and the white. And I'm just going to leave it like this. I can add a greeting to it later. I can do like I did over here, just have a little strip tag, and it can be whatever you want it to be. If you want some of the other greetings that are in the set, or a birthday like I did with this one. Alright. Now for my next card, we're gonna do some cards, or a card with the little pieces that you cut out with your dies. So I've done a few things ahead of time just because lining this up was a little crazy. So I've cut several of these pieces out. It's nice that you get 2 of those in here, so you can run a couple of those at a time. And then let's move these pieces. Let's move this over here out of the way. So I've cut a few of these, and here is one of the pieces. So you can cut them out like this. So let's see, like this. Okay, so when you run it through, it cuts it out like that. This is a great piece too. So I've lined up like I did this one here. So you can add just a few different layers to that. And I did the negative spaces or pieces, just little strips on the inside. You can get some really fun waves like that. So that's how I did this one. And when I did the ship, I put that, or the little sailboat, put that in there already. So it's ready to go on my card piece. But how I did, I really liked how this lined up so you could see just a little bit of the mast. So when I glued both of those pieces together, I didn't line it all the way up. I wanted to see just a little bit of that mast showing. So that's how I glued these two pieces together. Got all of these cut out. But what I want to do first, I'm going to set this aside over here. I want to create just a little bit of color on my sky. I really like these boards. Make a nice little stamping surface. Let's move those. I know I'm going to set a card on top of that stamp, so let's move that. All right, so we're going to use the brush, a little blending brush, and we're going to do some balmy blue. So one of the reasons why I like, I'm going to lose a bird. Let's put that over there. Like using these little boards that come out of your kits. They work really well because it's going to hold my ink pad while I load this up with color. So I'm going to swipe it across. It'll hold that there. I'm going to start off here. I'm going to swipe a little bit of color, and it is a light blue, so it's going to take a little while for it to build up some color. So I'm just going to swipe across. A little bit of color. I don't want it all even. I do want a little lighter areas because, you know, that's how it is in the sky, right? So some lighter and darker areas. Okay, swipe that across here. Get a little bit more on there. It's very light. I like to put my finger on the top here, just gives me a little bit more control. Okay, a little more over here. Just keep building up some of that color. There we go. A little more. So let's see if you can see. It is very light. Let's do a little bit more right here. Let's keep going. And you can build it up as dark or as light as you want it. Okay, so I want just a little bit of that on there. So now I'm going to take the stamp from the water, and where's my, oh, I'm going to do some Misty Moonlight. Okay, let's turn it this way. We're going to stamp some here. So I'm going to build this up. So this I want down here. I think I want some more blue down at the very edge of this. Let's darken that just a little bit more right here. Okay. So I want this about here. So this stamp I'm going to put about here. So let's ink that up. So we're going to stamp here, and then we're going to do one more right above it. Okay, so something like that. And then we're going to put this one like this, and then this little ship, because it's smaller, I gotta want it to look like it's in the distance. So we're gonna layer this up like that with our clouds. Kind of something like this. So let's put this away. Now I didn't want to cut these until I had this because I wanted to make sure I could go one way or the other. Had a little room to play. So let's move these. This needs to get glued down first. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over, and I put some dimensionals on my sail. So when I glue this flat, my sails will be lifted. So I'm going to get my glue here. Let's move this over. I'm going to put a couple strips of this. Okay. There we go. Oh, let's take this off. Okay. Now, let's put this. Oh, don't glue yet. You could go all the way down to the edge of the card, but I kind of want a little bit of that showing. So we'll do this, and then these will get glued down here. Terrific. Now I want to cut these off. Okay. So I'm going to take my scissors, turn that over, and just follow the edge of my card. There are a few thicknesses, there we go, that you're cutting through. We'll do the other side. There we go. All right. Terrific. Looks good so far. Okay, now we're gonna get these over here. Okay, so we're gonna glue this guy down. And I'm gonna get my liquid glue since he's kind of small. A little of this goes a long way. And this one I'm going to glue flat down. Whoops. No, I don't want you to glue there. Alright. Okay, so we're going to set this guy over here so he looks like he's in the distance. Make sure he's in the water. That looks good there. And then this cloud I want to glue. Actually, I think I want both of these to be with dimensionals. So I already have dimensionals on that one. We'll put a couple on this one. Okay. And then they can sort of overlap if you want, or something like this. Okay, but I want this on my card now. So let's glue this down. Let's just use this. Got our mat. Okay. There's a lot of layers on this, especially with the water, but it was kind of fun to play with that. It did take me a little while to get them all kind of lined up how I wanted. Alright, so I've glued one of the little birds, and this little die will cut out 3 birds at the same time. So I want to make sure I get these guys where I want them. I'll put one here and here. So let's get the clouds on. Here we go. Okay, so we'll put a cloud here. And get this one. Over here. Now to put these guys on, you definitely want some tweezers to hold these tiny little guys, and you want some fine tip glue. Put just a little bit. No matter how hard I try, you always get a little too much of that, so you want to have a tissue handy. So let's get this one somewhere around here. Okay. Yep, squished out a little too much, so have a tissue handy and just blot it. Okay, now let's get this guy. They're so tiny. The tweezers are definitely helpful. Okay, I'll get this one. I'll put him over here. Okay, blot that. And there we go. Super cute. Again, I think I'm just going to leave this one just like that, and then I can add a greeting to it, either on, you know, here in the water, or maybe just on the inside. Very fun. Lots of fun little layers. This is a great set, a little great bundle to have for any sailors in your life. Lots of fun. I hope you like those projects. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and go check out my other videos. Have a great day.